Josh, what would you say to someone who hasn't made a New Year's resolution yet?
It's getting late, man. Gotta jump on that.
I'm Joe.
I'm Josh.
You've got questions?
Yo, feeling grounded.
Welcome to Feeling Grounded with your hosts, Josh and Joe.
So what we want you all to do right now is subscribe to Feeling Grounded Podcast and like this video. Share this video also to any person that you feel might benefit from this content. And also become a patron on Patreon. Josh and I put out exclusive content that we love to put out there. Also follow us at Feeling Grounded Podcast on Instagram. That's at Feeling Grounded Podcast. Also, lastly, please put questions or comments on our YouTube video or our Instagram post. We would love to have that engagement with you guys, and putting questions on there will actually boost a lot of engagement, especially with the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, and just tell us in the comments what your resolutions are and what you're looking for in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that conversation going and keep it going in the comments.
All right. You got questions?
Yo, feeling grounded.
Entertainment. Where's the entertainment, guys?
So it is that time of year where we get to reflect on the year prior, Joseph.
So 2021 has been kind of a mixed bag for me. I would say 2020 was an even better year for me just because there were a lot of changes, major life changes, and I kind of appreciate that in retrospect. 2021's a mixed bag because there was a lot of stability, and with stability comes complacency. I see a lot of these memes right now. They say 2022, don't say that it's going to be your year because of all the disappointment of 2020 and 2021. But I would say that will breed more complacency for a lot of people. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't think you should ever sell yourself short. Or, I mean, there's nothing wrong with desiring to have a good year. I mean, that's my whole thing. Like, I love the concept of resolutions and believing in all this stuff. And so I would say the opposite. Like, you should try every year to have the best year. So I would say for me, for my 2021, it was probably, honestly, like the best year I have had in years. Like, I mean, there's been like moments throughout them, like, you know, getting married and having kids and having twins and all that stuff. And 2020 was a nice year for us as a family. But for me personally, just as a man, this was the year that I feel like I became who I am supposed to be, as opposed to being someone that I'm not, which is every other year. So it was huge.
I think the elephant in the room is us starting Feeling Grounded back in March. I think that was a fantastic choice for us to do, to record basically our weekly conversations in order to make it into something with a little bit of a theme each week, whether it talks about our interest or whether basically it's us projecting about like things that we want to change in our life. I think it's a really positive choice. So I gotta give us props for continuing to do this into 2020, 2022 and beyond.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm super excited about our future and the future of this podcast. And it was awesome to start it with you. I've always, you know, we were talking for a while about how cool it would be to do a podcast together. Yeah. Just 'cause there
was a good 6-month period in 2020 where we like mentioned it briefly, and then I finally jumped the gun and got the podcast mic and every other piece of equipment that we've used.
It's beautiful, you know, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like your
that's
thing?
A big one. And then also I think there's another one that I'm really proud about is playing guitar for worship team, jumping into this incredibly unknown thing, this incredibly unknown genre that I've listened to quite a bit but never actually took a deep dive, and actually, because it's a whole different genre of playing, one that I'm still learning about each and every time I'm getting up there. But also guitar playing too, really fell back in love compared to 2020, and then fell even more so with that, which is something that I definitely appreciate. How about you?
That's great, man. That's great. I'm just gonna just briefly hit up the main things, right? So the beginning of the year, we sold our home, right? So January, we were living in a different town. We sold that for a lot of money, which was awesome because of the market. So obviously but the process was tough because we were living with our in-laws, so we did that for the majority of the year. But until the summer when we closed on our home, and I went back to school. I made the decision to go back to school for music and music production. and then we moved in the summer, and then honestly it was just this fall that was like crazy. Just me quitting my job and starting Noom, all to desire like the goodness. And yeah, I mean, this was my year, baby. Like, I lost 20 pounds from January 1st to recently, and 15 pounds with Noom. Yeah, exercising, eating well, and everything. Like, my whole life just became how I want it to be.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And having a supporting wife who encourages me through this, and all of these endeavors that I've been taking has been amazing, and like we're doing well, and the kids are growing up and they're getting big, they're walking and talking, and I mean, there's a million things. I mean, I could just go forever about how great this year was, and I'm just super stoked to see what the next year holds, you know, as we're locking in. So this year, the word that I've chosen, so last year I said it was active, intentional. The year before that was health. This year, my word is refine. Yeah.
I'll go into my word as we're wrapping up, but I think it's important to go into why. I came up with 3 reasons before this why a person should create New Year's goals or resolutions, because resolutions has a cliche. First off, like, they help you focus on where you want to be and who you want to become. Another reason is they can be used, New Year's goals or resolutions, they can be used to take better care of ourselves. Even if you don't meet that one person or that weight loss number or get that position, you know, you were better for it. And then lastly, the last reason I came up with is we see it as an opportunity to positively impact one another. You know, chances are you'll probably have a cheerleading team behind you if you share this goal or resolution. Kind of want to hear your thoughts on this. Is, should you share your goal? Should you even share your resolution?
So I think you should. I think you should, because like you just said, it encourages other people to hold you accountable. Yeah. And you're more likely to accomplish your goals if you have other people who know about them. I mean, there's been studies that have been shown on this. I was just read one the other day that was saying like the importance of sharing and talking and getting involved with other people, especially with goals that you set. So
yeah, I think that's really true. I think well, it depends on the goal and the person, I would say. Some people might need that backing if they can't push it on their own. It requires some introspection. Some people, myself included, depending on the goal, not every goal. Some need backing from myself. Some I keep to myself, because sometimes I might feel that the goal is diminished if I do share it. Sometimes I might feel like I'm afraid if I do share it that I might get some discouragement. Yeah.
And I guess it just depends on who you decide to share it with.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
You know, because if you share it with loved ones, that's one thing. If you just share it with the random coworkers or whatever, they may respond negatively and discourge you. So
yeah, remember that episode we did with What Men Want? Men desire a cheerleader. Or we need something about, I want to do an episode about like having like stand-up friends. Like, we need cheerleader friends too, you know, friends that say like, yeah, you should do, like the ones that are gung-ho about your resolutions, your goals, because those are ultimately the type of people that you would want to have around.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I would say that's something that modernity has destroyed the concept of, you know. I think we talked about in that video, like it was in years past, it was very common for men to have at least 10 like best friends, like 10 close friends. And nowadays the average number is like 2, maybe 2 or 3. Yeah. So there is something to that. But yeah, I think it's important to have people close to you that know that, you know, you're trying to succeed in areas of your life, and for them to help you achieve that success. And those are the signs of true friendship and true love. Yeah.
Your word was refine. And what's your resolution?
So my resolutions, I have multiple. Page 2. On page 2. I'm going to get to 220, my weight. I'm at 240 now, and I was at 260 in the beginning of the year, so halfway. I'm going to read Lord of the Rings. I have a lot of books that I want to read, but I want to read it yearly because I love it so much. And every year I know I'll get something new out of it. Cool. I'm going to do the Exodus 90 again, starting January 1st, which is taking basically all technology, like sweets, like all that stuff, just getting rid of it, and then just living intentionally for 3 months. I want to do a lot more music this year, so I recorded about 25 songs last year, And this year I want to double that and get to 50
Of your own?
of my own songs.
Good.
Yep. And then we're also going to do, because you inspired us, Joe, we're going to cover Meet the Beatles. Claire and I are. We're going to work on a cover album.
The U.S. version?
Yeah, the U.S. version. Yep.
Nice. Okay. Let me know if you need me to spot you.
Oh, definitely. And then obviously I'm going to graduate from school, and I want to get a job in the field of music. So
Yeah.
just refine it and just make it better. Like continue with my weight loss, continue with school, continue with music, continue.
Yeah.
And then find success in all the things that I'm doing, and reaching those at that end and the end game, the end goal.
I've been hearing for the past year the word intentional by multiple different people, and I know that it's no coincidence. In all pursuits of my life, and this is the final one. Hearing like my best friend say intentional, I think that is my word this coming year, because that's been lacking in a few areas. So my word is intentional, and my goals starting off would be write more children's books, because I put that on the back burner. So I'm going to send that out to the literary agent, because I've got a whole bunch of story treatments and drafts that are ready to go to be sending to them. So that's one. Guitar. Finish the course that I had bought by the end of next year. I think I can do it a lot faster than that, much faster. And also record some songs as well that I had written.
Nice.
Finally, I'm going to take a look at actually Exodus 90 that you were mentioning, because you've mentioned it in the past. Because there have been moments where, you look to YouTube, for example, inspiration, or Instagram for inspiration, and then lo and behold, like some hours get killed off.
It steals you. Yeah.
That's the sentence I want to like leave people with, is the days are long, but the years are short.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think intentionality is one thing that makes your life from good to great. It really takes you that extra mile. Just makes your time worth it.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful, Joe. I love it, man. Yeah, we can do it together. Why don't we do Exodus 90 together? I'll send you everything and
we'll talk it over.
Let's go 2022.
The future is inevitable, but let's travel back in time.
December 22nd, 1967. I had actually just watched this film a couple months back. It's called The Graduate, starring Dustin Hoffman, directed by Mike Nichols. That's when it was released. It actually was Best Director in 1968. I'm not going to spoil really what's taken place. This is a really young Dustin Hoffman movie. The guy's like 80 right now. But what I can tell you about the themes of this movie, and something that really resonates with a lot of young people, and actually probably even old people too, it's about uncertainty about a person's direction in life, and fear of the unknown, jumping into scenarios where you clearly do not belong, and in the wake of that, like expectations imposed on you by the adults around you. And so that's what Dustin Hoffman's character is going through in that movie, especially up to the final scene with the two characters at the very end. It's a classic example of a director, keeping the camera rolling and then just using that footage, which was entirely an accident, but still relates to the themes of uncertainty. That's all I'll say on the matter. Great movie.
Nice.
Great movie.
Yeah,
very happy I watched it. It's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on the list. I definitely want to watch it. December 22nd, 1877. Your boy Thomas Edison, his first iteration of the phonograph came to fruition and was recognized by the Scientific American, which is a journal from 1877. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like the first concept and an idea of like your modern record player. Yeah. Your phonograph, but the time of it was prior to having like the discs, vinyl discs, everything was like a cylinder. It was a cylinder with an aluminum foil covering that you were able to record over top of. As the needle would go down the cylinder, it would shake and pick up on the vibration of your voice and would travel through this glass needle and then record and implant it within the aluminum foil.
How far we've come.
I know, exactly. It's just this cylinder that would, would spin as the needle went over it. And you could only record it was 30 seconds of audio, and it did not last because it was aluminum foil, so it would deteriorate and break all the time, which is why none of them exist. There's literally none around anymore because of this. which is why they decided, hey, let's change this because this doesn't work.
Josh, do you still have your record player?
Wait.
I remember you had to get another one because it completely fried.
Yeah, fried because it's shorted because of a bad outlet. But yeah, we got another one, and because I love vinyls, I'm a big vinyl, which nowadays has a stigma of like you're a hipster loser if you like vinyl. But I've always liked vinyl. I've liked vinyl
they've overpriced
way
them.
before.
I like getting those flea market vinyl records.
Oh, definitely.
It's time for Happy Crappy.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm more energized today. How you doing, man?
you're more energized?
Yeah, I slept last night.
You got a full 30 minutes.
I got a full 40 minutes.
I got a full 30 minutes.
The last time that we spoke, your kids were having some type of skin. They had leprosy.
Yeah, hand, foot, and mouth. And now they're fine. They're back. Well, basically. They're still there a little bit. And John, because he had it the worst. But they're all like, it's off their face. You don't see it on their face anymore. Their hands and feet are all good. So, like,
I will go into my crappy first. So, I had a COVID scare. I was around a person who was a positive case. And a couple days later, I started feeling symptoms. I was instructed to, I had to go get a PCR test, which takes about 3 days.
Did you hear back?
Yeah, negative.
Of course. Because you're beyond fully vaccinated. Yeah, it's a weird time right now. People are like freaking out again. Like in New York, like they mandated masks again, which I'm very angry about. But
everywhere.
Yeah,
just
like
New York State. It was pretty manageable, and it was a pretty nice couple days, and that's where my happy comes into play. So in those 2.5 days, I recorded a lot of music and stuff like that, and kept very, very active. It kind of sucked to be inside for a while, but it was pretty warm actually. But when I did go out, I really sucked it all in.
My crappy, I don't really have one. I had a really nice week. I did have one bad eating day, but beyond that, my weight hasn't gone down, but it hasn't really gotten up either. So I'm happy with how things are. I've just been maintaining this week, and then hopefully next week I will knock it down. I'm like right on the border of like where I want to be. So, yeah. So I don't really have any crappies. I mean, the beginning of the week was tough with the kids, but then they went over the hump by like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then everything was great. Finally
Excellent.
Sleep again, and exercising and eating well, and having a nice time with the family because Claire was off this week. It was her staycation, and it was good. So that's my happy, is that Claire was home. And so it's just so great when we're all together. And I played tennis with Celia, and it was just a great week. Did a lot of yard work today.
So what we want you all to do right now is subscribe to Feeling Grounded Podcast and like this video. Share this video also to any person that you feel might benefit from this content. And also become a patron on Patreon. Josh and I put out exclusive content that we love to put out there. Also follow us at Feeling Grounded Podcast on Instagram. That's at Feeling Grounded Podcast. Also, lastly, please put questions or comments on our YouTube video or our Instagram post. We would love to have that engagement with you guys, and putting questions on there will actually boost a lot of engagement, especially with the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, and just tell us in the comments what your resolutions are and what you're looking for in 2022. Let's get that conversation going and keep it going in the comments.
All right. You got questions?
Feeling grounded.